Legend Total War here, and today we've got a Rating Your Doomstack video covering a Dread Fleet, Rotting Leviathan Doomstack. We've got 17 of them, and we've got a Vampire Fleet Captain here with the trait Disciplined. We've got a Mongol Haunter here with Disciplined trait, and one of the unique Tech Tree Vampire Fleet Captains that you can get. Going up against two armies of Dark Elves, which is one of the most difficult things for this sort of army to deal with, just because of all the anti-large armor piercing and the missiles that they bring here, they're expert at taking down armies just like this. Anyway, let's jump into the battle here, and I'll explain a few things. Now, I really wanted to do a thorough job on this one, because the Necrofex Colossus army is the main thing that we want to be comparing this to. And whenever I use a Necrofex Colossus army in the campaign, there's always a few people that ask, why not Rotting Leviathan Doomstack? Have you ever tried Rotting Leviathans? And yes, I have tried them in the past, and I can see quite easily how they are inferior to Necrofex Colossus in pretty much every single way, right? Except for one. They're technically better in melee, but they're also not really, okay? So what I've done in this battle here is I've actually already fought this battle about 5 times, and I've fought it in different ways to see different ways that we could use the Rotting Leviathans and this battle here in order to test how it would go up against like a Necrofex army, right? And in every single test that I've done, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that a Necrofex army could have done it better. Now, that is here are the two main tries that I've done. The one that got the best results was where I lured all of their forces down this way here and kept using, basically just avoided them for the most part, and then just kept casting Vangeist's Revenge. I thinned them out by a huge amount, got over 1,000 kills on the general here before the fighting even began, and then managed to just charge in and beat them. But we won that battle off the backs of the magic, not the Rotting Leviathans, and the Necrofexes could have done that as well. In fact, the Necrofexes would have helped because they would have been blasting them as well. So in that case there, it was definitely not a triumph for the Rotting Leviathans. Now, in another time, I did a blob, got into a big blob, charged them in, and didn't use any magic, and got fucking annihilated. Okay, that was obviously going to happen that way. So I then did the same thing again, sent them in a big blob right at the start of the battle, and then used magic around. So let me just try to visualize it for you. Then what I did was blob them up around like this, and as their forces pulled up around here, I was just basically casting Vangeist's Revenge around the outskirts, also inflicting loads of damage. We won that battle, but I lost most of the Rotting Leviathans, and once again, he gets like 1,000 kills. Another time, I spread the forces out like this and charged down, and basically microed like hell to make sure I was pinning down all of their missile units. And that was virtually impossible because we were outnumbered. They could send 2 units for every one of ours, and so what ended up happening was basically the same results as if we blobbed up, and we won the battle, but got shredded. So, it's not really appropriate to do this as a test for the Rotting Leviathan and only use the magic to win the battle. So we're gonna do it this way, just charge in there, just so I can showcase it. Now, another thing about this army, and this is probably just a personal preference thing, but I really disagree with putting these guys on Rotting Prometheans. There are so many disadvantages to putting them on this mount. It's one of the worst mounts in the game, because for one, it doesn't increase your speed by very much, but it increases your size by a lot. It gives them a bit of extra hit points, and maybe it might seem like they get a lot of extra melee defense, but when going up against a primarily melee infantry army, what this does is it makes it so that instead of 4 units at a time can attack you, it's like 15 units at a time can attack you. So basically, these units become really, really squishy. They die very quickly. And because they've got huge hit points pools, it's actually a lot harder to heal them, because the Hex spell does the same amount of healing regardless of whatever your max health is. So in my opinion, do yourself a favor and don't waste a point on this mount. It's Oh, it's just crap. It's just a fucking crap mount. Really can't discourage people from using it enough. Piece of shit. This guy always does pretty well. We've got 30% physical resistance and 15% magical resistance on any of them that have 7 or more experience. So these ones here don't have the magic resistance, but they do have the physical resistance. Anyway, let's just jump into the battle and see how we go. You know what I might do this time, actually? I might go after their reinforcements here. Okay? Because what ended up happening the last time I did this is that the artillery from this army actually ended up doing quite a lot of damage. And if we fight them here, then that artillery won't even reach us in this battle before the army losses comes into play. So yeah, fought there's multiple different ways, and this is, I haven't done this one yet. I'm sure everybody's going to want me to fight it a different way, and I think that's the real difficulty of sometimes doing these Doomstack videos. We want to do an appropriate test, but we also want to win. We also don't want to do a shit job, but sometimes I have to do a shit job in order to properly test it. You know, there's always somebody being like, oh, you could have done this to get a better result. Yeah, but I wouldn't have tested the army enough. Or, hey, you didn't test the army enough. You tried too hard to win. You know? We've got to find that happy medium somewhere where we test it and actually do a good job. Right, well, if you just want to sit there. Highest priority needs to be taking out their missile units, I think. And we can do a bit of healing at the start here, because we don't need to be using Vanguard's Revenge just yet. Vanguard's Revenge is really good. 55 speed, but they're still very slow. Now, if we had a Necrophax army, we would have half destroyed this army by now. And before these guys even got a chance to get in there. Because that's what it really comes down to. The Necrophaxes, they have a huge amount of damage output, and these guys here do not. They're supposed to be, like, tankier, and they technically are, but because of their size, they're also not. Their size really lets them down big time here. That's the big problem with Dreadsaurians. That's why they're not really viable, because they're just too fucking big. Without enough damage output. Don't get me wrong, very strong unit, but just the size lets them down. The bigger the unit in this game, the weaker it is. This is what makes, in my opinion, Brood Horrors so good. They're really strong, but they're quite small, you know, for their strength that they do. I might just use Tide Call there. I found in this latest patch that the AI does seem to be a lot better at trying to dodge your spells. Agreed. Fleet Admiral. Just wanted to see if we can get a decent cast in there. Yeah, that was a reasonable cast. Okay. Good. Wiped out that unit. And the great thing about this is because we attacked them from their flank and they all just started rushing at us, they're not coming at us wide, they're not flanking us very well. Which is what happens if we attack it from the other direction. And also, these guys here are really far away. Okay, we're not going to be good at handling this, but let me just see what I can do. Okay, where should... Okay, that there seems okay. Hopefully they don't dodge it. They do seem to have a tendency of doing that. Marathi's going down pretty well. This is actually proving to be one of the better attempts. So far so good. Oof, man, that one's taking damage. I want to get them closer together. I think that's really important. And yeah, they kind of get bogged down. You know, they're not like Carnosaurs that can just push out of any fight. Yeah, because the Cribbit is there, they just can't get out of it. I think this one here might die if I don't get it out. Alright, where should I cast this? Still think that the missile units are the most dangerous unit we're up against here. I don't want to waste any magic on healing this. Healing magic on Rotting Leviathan army is not effective. Especially when they've got so much melee infantry. We need to be focusing on damage magic. You just stay over there. You're done for this fight. But I don't want to withdraw because I don't want to lose the bounce of power. These guys here are still ages away. See, if this one was on foot, it wouldn't be taking so much damage. It just gets stuck. Alright. Get rid of these fucking shades, please. Need more magic. Okay, we got a couple of them that are probably gonna die. Can you get back over here, please? Like I said, I don't think heal magic's the right call. I just don't want to lose any of them. Yeah, this is where they get us here. Fucking shades. Get these three out of there. Okay, here we go. That could be okay if we get in a little bit closer. Just wait. As long as they don't move, that should be okay. Where are you? Yeah, somebody's trying to... Oh, Marathi's got you. Shit. Oh, just in time there. Got rid of Marathi. Now, using a Crown of Command on a unit that's already crumbling doesn't actually stop it from crumbling. In fact, it does the opposite. It won't stop crumbling until the Crown of Command is done. You have to cast it before it starts crumbling. Yeah, I don't know if I can save it. I don't think I can save it. It's only got 100 hit points left. Get back over here. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe. Get it off the battlefield. Get this one off. Did I already lose one? I'm here. Why? You gotta go. Come on. Time to leave. And this one too. I'll try to keep it alive as long as I can. Better at route than at dying. Okay, we're a little bit low on magic because I've been doing the heal spells. Okay, everybody except for you, and you. Charge in here. Yeah, you're okay there. Okay, you don't need... Yeah, so these ones here that are really badly damaged, just move them at the back there. Gotta get these guys into a clump. I reckon one more good cast might just cause the army losses. So just don't get them to use their skirmish mode. As long as they stay put. Yep, there it is. Alright, did I lose? I lost one. I lost one, yeah. So that was one of the better attempts, and you can see that they got fucking wrecked. And then, of course, after the battle, just try to heal as much as you can, but you're not going to get that much out of it because they've got such high hit points. There we go. So yeah, that one there died. Alright, now we're going to do some other testing to see some value based on their campaign abilities, as in how long they take to recruit, the upkeep cost, the recruitment cost, that kind of stuff, in order to finalize the assessment of whether or not these guys are even a Doomstack.
Take the treasure. The blood's mine.
So we just got to get to the next turn. It's pretty late in the campaign. I think it's turn like 300 or something. Hopefully this end turn doesn't take too long. Because it seems like Naggarond and the Empire are the ones that are on your border the most.
The dead.
Okay. So, looking at this one here. This one has access to shipbuilding, ambush defense chance. Wouldn't it have been better to have gotten... Hang on. This one here. Notorious Admiral. Because he provides extra physical resistance for the entire army. That would have given you 40% physical resistance in that fight. Seems like that was a missed opportunity. Also... Hang on, let me just... It's not important.
Time to feed. All above board.
Alright, so where are they recruited from? So they recruit from here. Okay. So whereas they recruit from there. Suppose it would take about the same amount of time to recruit them normally. Alright, let's have a look. Where are they? Looking at this. So Necrofexes, this is specifically with the Dread Fleet. Wait, no. What's that faction called? Yeah, Dread Fleet. They take one turn to recruit, because if we have a look at our faction ability here, recruitment costs -1 for Necrofex Colossus, but for other Vampire Coast factions it'd be 2 turns. And, okay, so 1,500 versus 1,200, 470 versus 495. Okay, so they're more expensive than Necrofexes. How much physical resistance is that? 30% as well. Yeah. I just don't see any upsides to getting a Rotting Leviathan. They're literally more expensive. They don't pack as much of a punch. There's no upside to it. Like, I would say that the only advantage to going Rotting Leviathan is if it depends on what you're going up against. If you're going up against probably lizard men, then maybe Rotting Leviathan Doomstack might actually be the ideal one to go. If you're dealing with like a Rite of Primeval Glory army, because these are not great at taking out single entity big monsters, because their shots miss a lot. They're really good at just shredding infantry-based armies, and that was an infantry-based army. So we weren't really utilizing the strength of the Rotting Leviathan. Alright, so in terms of cost, it's actually worse than the Necrofex Colossus. They perform well, I don't think they perform as well. I think if we had a Necrofex army here, we wouldn't have lost any of them, and it would have been a way easier fight. I could have just stood there right at the start and just shredded them. Of course, I'd have to set up the exact same situation to do it, but I've fought enough with Necrofexes to know that they would handle that situation pretty damn easily. So in terms of rating them, if we use the benchmark of 9 out of 10 for a Necrofex army, then I think this, by comparison, is about a 7 out of 10. It's good, it's just not as good, and there's, I guess, no reason to go, just not much of a reason to do this, opposed to Necrofexes, apart from you just like them. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like, this is a Doomstack, it's just not as good of a Doomstack, and therefore it's getting 2 points lower than it, because I just don't see the value in them. If we had a look at the amount of damage output that they did, most of them didn't really get that many kills. Like this guy, these two here were doing all the real work, especially this one with the Vanguard's Revenge. If we didn't do that, we would have lost so many more of them because it was just shredding like hundreds of them with it because it was really useful. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this. I tried to be as thorough as possible. Let me know what you think of the ratings, whether you think this is a good Doomstack or a bad Doomstack in comparison to the Necrofexes. If you don't like doing Doomstacks, it's totally fine. You don't have to do either of them, but these are just options for you to choose when you want to play a Vampire Curse campaign, specifically with the Dreadfleet. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.